Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with a continuation of our Queen Khalida campaign. So last time around we were definitely in a bit of a rough spot and kind of backed into a corner between the Skaven and the forces of the last defenders, and we're trying to bait the Skaven to fight us. So we'll definitely see how that goes. The Skaven have a lot of troops. They have a lot of nasties. Definitely kind of a little worried. We're definitely going to be losing the Doomglade here. There's very little we can do against these just masses of lizardmen that are going to be marching up from the south. I'm not entirely sure what Krokar is up to. As you can see, though, Queek is definitely feeling his oats here and thinks he has a chance. He does have a pretty solid composition, but definitely a lot of it is unshielded. He does have those Warp Lightning cannons, though, which could be a major nuisance. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to fight this battle. Of course, a lot of this is going to revolve around the fact that we rout his army. Simply put, Queek does not have the best of morale. The vast majority of his troops are garbage. The only really good troops he does have are the Stormvermin. Stormvermin are, of course, very, very potent. But I do believe that if we can beat him here, we can definitely force a peace treaty, and that'll allow us to rotate around, pivot back, and go after Krokar and shut him down. Because Krokar is right now a major menace who needs shutting down. As you can see, the odds are definitely not in our favor, at least not on paper. Though that definitely, I think, in part stems from the fact that we have a lot of monstrous units and heavy cavalry and that sort of stuff. Whereas the Skaven, of course, are basically pure infantry. In a 1-to-1, our spearmen are really no match for Skaven clan rats, even if they are full HP. It's not really even fight, but we do have those Ushapti. We do have those archers. We definitely have the edge in the shooting department. We should be able to bring down those gutter runners. Stormvermin are going to be a major nuisance, but once again, we do have some Nakarn, we do have some Ushapti, we do have our chariots to hopefully crush them, and units like that should definitely give us a bit of a chance. We're definitely going to gamble because that is a pretty atrocious amount of Winds of Magic, and then we're going to start deployment. So this is a rather weak army we have here. This was definitely the weaker of our two forces, so we're going to try to deploy here. We're going to get our archers set up behind our troops, behind our main line. Put them on guard mode. Try to spread these guys out a little more. This is going to be a very huge battle. We're going to put our Lord in. He doesn't have anything cast, so he can easily be... we can make this group 1 then. Didn't even think about that, but yeah, he can be group 1. And this is going to be group 2 of just chariots, and we're going to put them on melee mode. So, we're going to start battle, and we'll see how things go. As you can see, we are immediately going to... It does appear that the AI has actually kind of learned a little bit here. Their deployment is much more clever. You can see there's clan rats and stormvermin right off the bat, which is going to be a bit of a nuisance. We do, however, have High Queen Khalida. You can see we will be able to immediately cast a Shemswirt Burning Gaze into those stormvermin, doing some damage. And then hopefully get in there and start doing some major work. In the meantime, we can, of course, start advancing. We do want to get our chariots clear. We do want to get our archers clear. And we can get our Ushapti stuck in. And unfortunately, definitely, things are not the best here. Yeah, we got to get our chariots clear if we can. You can see our knights are already engaging in a pretty atrocious situation. Our sepulchral stalkers need to pull back, and they just need to allow. And you can see that immediate collapse there, as those troops start getting pulped. Unfortunately, you can see our chariots are also not having the best time of it. As you can see, of course, things are definitely not looking the best. We'll try to push the sepulchral stalkers into the fray. You can see our archers are definitely not having the best time of it. Over here, the Ushapti, of course, will be tearing through these stormvermin rather efficiently, I do believe. But our chariots there are definitely doing a great job at just tying down our opponent's troops. And things are... it does look like we're lagging a little bit here, which is definitely a little unfortunate. So we can definitely try to kind of engage there. Things are definitely not looking great. We're going to try to disengage our chariots. We're going to put all the chariots into one group, group 2, and just try to get them clear. Things are definitely not looking great, not looking terrible either, though. And we'll just try to get clear. Keep applying that pressure. And our archers are in the fray. You can see some are getting slaughtered here by the clan rats. Definitely a bit of a problem. You can see the Ushapti way overextending. We can use a Hey, cast there. Things are definitely looking okay. We'll keep cycle charging with our chariots. Of course, losing chariots here and there is not going to be the end of the world. You can see another heal going down. Simple reality is we need to slowly but surely whittle away at our opponent's troops and break them over time. Unfortunately, our archers here are not the brightest. They're engaging in a really stupid position. The archers are stupid. I think that was a major mistake there on my micro. And over here, you can see one of our abilities is actually going down. I do believe High Queen Khalida is just struggling against weak so much. We definitely need to try to bring him down a bit. And you can see we do get our Shopti here, and we're going to be able to throw these into the back of those clan rats. Now we can get our chariots back out and get ready for another charge. In the meantime, sepulchral stalkers can be thrown into the fray. We're going to push them straight in, and you can see those Shopti going to the back there. And the Skaven, of course, are going to start collapsing rather quickly, because they're simply not intended for to deal with this sort of terror. They're really, really bad against that stuff. And our chariots are going to get out, and we're going to cycle in for another charge. And this is definitely kind of that situation that suits us. As you can see, things are going definitely a little rough. Not entirely sure where High Queen Khalida is. We're going to drop a buff on her. I do believe Queek has a bonus against infantry, so we're going to have to pull back because she's actually getting trashed right now. Really badly. Really, really, really badly by Queek. And she's actually going to start falling apart here. We just need to get her out, because losing Queen Khalida right now would be an absolute disaster. A real mess. So we just need to get her clear. Then we need to pull our chariots back and go back for another charge. Over here you can see the front line is definitely holding pretty well. You can see things are definitely starting to turn in our favor. And with Ushapti in the back line, things are definitely not going too terribly. We are losing some archers here and there. But all in all, things are definitely looking pretty good. And if we keep cycle charging in and out, we will be okay. We simply don't want to lose High Queen Khalida if we can at all avoid it. So the key here is really just to keep cycle charging. We're not even microing our archers. We're simply letting our archers do whatever the heck they please, because there's very little we can do about that. Over here we finally kind of cleared this out, and you can see our chariots just plowing into the side of these clan rat spears with shields. And yeah, things are all in all looking rather good. We're going to turn off our shop here, definitely getting kind of dragged into the muck. We're going to try to get a cast of another cast of heals on or of protection on the Ushapti, and kind of stabilize our front here. We'll pull back our spears, get our archers repositioned, get these try to whittle down those stormvermin, and definitely just try to do as good of a job as we can. You can see things are definitely not looking the greatest for us right now, but over here you can see kind of slowly but surely the AI is definitely starting to break up. Over there we can work on those clan rats. We can simply just keep pushing. Our summoner Ushapti are starting to fall apart, but that's okay, that's whatever. Over here the main problem is that we might lose these Ushapti over here that are purchased Ushapti. We're going to try to pull back our chariots once more. High Queen Khalida needs to stay alive if at all possible. Our spears are still around kicking. We're going to use them to engage on these clan rats. And I do believe that in general we're doing well enough in the current situation. Another incantation of protection there, and then we can try to push into the backs of these clan rats and just keep trying to break them, just keep trying to rout them. Every little bit, every charge, everything like that will be helping us slowly but surely chip away at our enemy's troops. Over here we're definitely overextending. We definitely need to kind of collapse on the back of these cannons, and just try to do our best. We do need to try to get these guys clear. Chariots are doing a great job at just breaking our opponent's troops, breaking their back. We need to keep being up on top of our casts, which I definitely don't think I'm quite doing. I'm definitely not quite on top of my casting, but you can see we are slowly but surely just dragging our enemy's troops into the muck with sheer weight of numbers. Over here they are recovering. Unfortunately, we don't really have the ability to pursue because we're so concerned with using our chariots. We'll try to engage on this Grace here because he's not the best in melee. We do want to keep a track of our good units because we don't want to lose those. We are actually able to drag Queek into the muck there as well. We will cast another supporting spell on our Ushapti, who we are trying to simply keep in the fight for a little bit longer. We don't want the Ushapti to die. They're such a valuable unit. Everything else here is disposable, and of course, honestly, the Ushapti are kind of disposable too because we can always get them back. But if I could avoid it, I would definitely try to avoid losing them. So you can see the Skaven are definitely starting to kind of crumble, getting dragged into the muck there. And the Hekaron Warriors are definitely not having the best time of it. They've really definitely done a pretty good job at killing units. High Queen Khalida still around kicking. You can see our archers over here doing a pretty decent job. And yeah, we're definitely in an okay spot. Warp Lightning Cannon is finally being run down. The Warp Lightning Cannon definitely did a lot of work to us, and I should have tried to shut it down. I probably should have dropped through Shopti directly on it, and I did not. Huge mistake on my part there. But we can now hopefully drag him into the muck. And you can see that this is going to be a shatter that really breaks the back of the Skaven army. We'll try to run down the Warp Lightning crew. If we can slaughter the Warp Lightning Cannon crew, that would be ideal. I don't really see any other units of particular note. Necron Warriors have actually stabilized at my model, so they should survive. We will lose some units, no doubt. I've no doubt that we've lost some spears and that sort of stuff, but those are units I really don't care about too much. And I really just want to drag this annoying cannon crew into the muck, because if we manage to kill the cannon crew, they will lose the entire gun there, the whole battery, and that's really something I want to get rid of. I don't want to have to be forced to deal with it in the long run. That's brutalized my troops in this game. You can see, unfortunately, the crew is just like really far away, and I might not be able to slaughter them all. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of the little rats, and they managed to escape. So we're just gonna end battle there. Definitely a rough one. Definitely a close victory. Surprising. I was surprised. I would expect that to be more. So yeah, that was definitely pretty solid. That was definitely pretty solid. Let's see. So, yeah, as you can see, the Chariots, of course, are doing some immense work. I was really concerned about losing troops, and I don't think I lost any. But on the flip side, I don't think the Skaven here lost any troops either, because a lot of their troops were just routing off the field. You can see the losses were definitely pretty even, but it's important to keep in mind what those losses were. I was losing most of my chaff infantry. My opponent, I was trying to single out and slaughter some of his high-end troops myself, so I think the trading might have been a little more favorable towards me. We almost lost High Queen Khalida. She did a lot worse against Queek than I anticipated. I should probably use that. I did forget that Queek does have bonus against infantry, I do believe. So he's actually pretty decent in those sorts of situations. It's definitely not a bad matchup for him. Yeah, it's definitely a little rough. 186 kills on the Warp Lightning Cannon. The Warp Lightning Cannon was doing huge amounts of work. But definitely a very solid win for us. Definitely very useful. Yeah, it should open up. I'm hoping it will allow me to take peace with Queek. My original intent had, of course, been to just war Queek quickly, get him out of the way, knock him out of the game for good, and then turn around to deal with Krokgar once I was a little strengthened up. Krokgar instead decided to immediately declare war on me and decided not to pussyfoot around the issue. So I'm finding myself in a bit of a tight spot. With the wiping of half of Queek's army, I will obviously get huge replenishment because High Queen Khalida has crazy replenishment stats. I don't think my other general quite has that comparable replenishment right now. I will hopefully get him a Lich Priest eventually. I will max out on replenishment rate. I'll give him some bonus to replenishment rate. But until that happens, Alcazar is not replenishing particularly quickly, and you can see the loading here is definitely taking a little while. Probably because it was such a massive battle. Not entirely sure though. And yeah. So hopefully things do go. Hopefully everything. I don't know what's up with the loading here. Why it's so slow. There we go. That was really rather frustrating. Now we could get a replenishment boost. As you can see, if we look at our losses, we obviously did lose some skeleton archers. That was one of the problems, of course, was that we were forced to engage right off the board edge, and they just had the jump on it. They could easily just plow into us with their troops and let us down a whole bunch. Unfortunately, we did not bring down the Warp Lightning Cannon, which really sucks. We could take Bind Souls. We'll take Bind Souls. I do really want those Canopic Jars, but man, we're gonna have to try to get peace. Vermin Flail for King Alcazar. Bonus versus infantry of +6. That's not terrible. It's one of those things. It does boost your melee attack against infantry by 6. And especially given that once he's on a Necrosphinx, ultimately, he will have a huge bonus against infantry, so that'll be a stack on top of that and just be really, really strong. This definitely isn't one of the best pickups from lords. There are some lords who will give you, I do believe, regeneration and that sort of stuff if you defeat them. This is fairly lackluster, but it's okay. Now, Queek kind of fell apart here, and I don't believe he's in range of his army for reinforcing. You can see High Queen Khalida replenished a lot of her troops. King Alcazar, of course, doing rather well. We will get Root Marcher because I think that's crucial. On High Queen Khalida, we can get some improvements for sure. We could get another Canopic Jar Hoarder. Now, this does mean that I'm sacrificing kind of army upgrades, but we actually did get a little bit of Canopic Jars there. So one of the problems there, of course, was also that we were in March stance. So even undead do take, we'll enter battle in a bad stance, in a bad situation. So we should be able to just crush Queek here rather quickly. We'll replenish. We'll keep taking the replenishments and until and now he's not quite in the right spot. So what we can then do is we can then move High Queen Khalida over there, run over. We'll auto-resolve. It's not the end of the world if we lose a handful of troops here. A few skeleton spears here and there are not the end of the world. Then we can harvest organs. We aren't really losing any high-value targets here, or high-value things here. Then we can plow on and take the Granite Massif immediately after. And we're all losing some troops here and there, but we'll be able to replenish relatively quickly. And we can occupy this for Canopic Jars. It's definitely in a solid spot right now. We can then get 2 charges of Soul Reaper, which will allow us to replenish a lot quicker. And we can then start just investing and get some more Skeleton Spears. You can see we do not have access to Skeleton Horsemen and all those fancy units, and we can obviously we might need to dispose of those in the future. I'm definitely worried I'm going to lose Libras here. I wish I could do something to force Grokgar to fight me, but I can't. He does have a monstrous 20 stack there, which is rather frustrating. We could get more Skeleton Chariots, perhaps more Skeleton Archers. I'm not entirely sure why I'm down to 10 Skeleton Archers. I definitely lost the building in Doomglade, but or maybe it's because the building's damaged. That might be why. It drops your unit capacity for archers. That's interesting. That's actually a bit of a blow. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some Skeleton Horsemen Archers. These guys actually do have better AP. And then we will get Light of Battle. We'll just try to get these stats here maxed. We're giving up Canopic Jar Hoarder here in favor of this, but we really kind of have to get these, get it up and running. And we'll get some Skeleton Spears, I think. And we'll try to force Grokgar to come fight us. Libris is most likely lost, which is unfortunate. But sacrifices will kind of have to be made here. And we're going to try to save up to get Sepulchral Stalkers unlocked, because I think they will be a big game changer for us. I'm not going to purchase anything this turn. We will simply try to save. And yeah, we'll hopefully be okay. If we lose a few settlements, it's definitely not optimized. It's not what I was looking for it to happen, but it's something I'm willing to suffer if it's needed. And I do believe Grokgar is just gunning for Libris at this point. There's nothing I'm going to be able to. I'd have to enter March stance, which would mean a sacrifice replenishment. Both replenishment or sign out replenishment. I'd have to sacrifice recruiting. I'm not about to do that. I could try to get peace with Queek, which would allow me to swing my second 20 stack over, and I think I might do that. I simply can't be bothered to really care about the Granite Massif right now. I'm not entirely sure if Carragher Root is not well fortified, though. It might be. Lost to the desert. We definitely can't take Public Order. We'll take Diplo Relation Sacrifice. And actually, Grokgar's retreating, so that's definitely good. One of those things we're not going to pursue right now. We do have our horsemen. We could get more chariots. Or more archers, because Queen Khalida, of course, is pretty well kitted out to be an archer lord. What was the proclamation of the here? Construction cost. These are all pretty powerful abilities, but definitely we're suffering in the research rate because I forgot to change these recruiting. I forgot to change off last turn, which is a huge mistake. So what I think we'll do, I'm not really sure what we'll do. It's actually kind of sad. We could get a Necrotect. What I think we will do actually is we'll simply go up here and we're going to get our Ancient Battle Site going. And eventually, I think our tech is going to be, as soon as we can, we're going to go after the proclamation of the 6th dynasty, just for those upgrades there. We'll go for some improvements to chariots here with the runic inscriptions. We're definitely suffering. We'll hopefully get the settlements needed to kind of counteract that. We'll try to get Queek here on. We'll try to get Queek talking, give him peace, which will help. And with him shut up, that should kind of get him off our backs. We're gonna probably lose the Granite Massif to the enemy. We can then swing over to here. You can see Queen Khalida here recruiting those last 2 archers because she's very archer oriented, so I definitely want her to have those. We'll scrap a few of our spears and use those to make room for, because this is of course our chariot lord. We'll use those to make room for some chariots. And we can, you know what, we can drop another unit of skeleton spears. The skeleton spears are simply useless. They're just there to hold. I'm not entirely sure if I want them over the skeleton horsemen, because skeleton horsemen are really bad as well. They're one of the trashiest units in the game, in my opinion. But we're kind of slowly but surely getting there. We're just going to get a bunch of chariots. We might take a few loss here and there, but with Queek out of the picture, Granite Massif is out of control, and it's going to fall in a few turns probably. But there's nothing I can do about that, so we're just going to end turn here and go march down and deal with Kroq-Gar. Kroq-Gar might also decide to assault Resetra. It wouldn't be surprising. It's one of those things I would definitely think he should do. He actually decides to besiege it, which is interesting. Resetra doesn't have a good garrison by any means. It really is just some garbagey skeleton troops. If he decides to take 2 turns, though, to besiege it, I could definitely hit him with Queen Khalida and crush him. And if I could crush Kroq-Gar, I can then snowball through the rest of his fortresses pretty quickly. Especially with Queek not interfering. Obviously, if Queek interferes, that's going to be a major problem. Queek's potentially an absolute pain in the rear. So we won't be able to. Well, the problem here is that this is actually a rather potent force. I gotta see what garrison Resetra has. Some Nahkarn warriors, Nahkarn horsemen. Now those 2 are actually pretty solid troops. Nahkarn warriors are easily a decent medium tier infantry. Nahkarn horsemen. I wouldn't say the Nahkarn horsemen really have any equivalent. I think we won't go fight for Resetra because there's not much to fight for in there. But we'll move up to the very border here, so that next turn we can force march to reinforce Resetra. And we're just kind of going to run the risk here of not being able to reach it in time if the AI opponent decides to fight. But I really don't feel like risking a battle against Kroq-Gar with my current 2 stacks. We could also get actually another army, which I do believe we will do now. We could, of course, we should have a lord who's almost. Oh, he does a scavenger. We could actually get disciplined, which would be decent. I think we'll pick up a disciplined lord as well. Obviously, we don't need this many extra lords, but we'll give him some skeleton horsemen. We'll start filling his army up with chaff infantry, and slowly but surely we'll just kind of fill it up. And this way, we'll just have 3 armies. Once you get the ball rolling as Tomb Kings, you can really do some major work. The biggest problem is that if you don't get the ball rolling, you're going to be in deep trouble, and life is going to be rather difficult for you. So that is really one of those things we're trying to avoid. Now, unfortunately, Kroq-Gar does feel gutsy and just goes for it, which is not a bad idea at all. But he makes a huge mistake here. He's actually going to be trapped in there. I'm going to be able to besiege him next turn. And I actually might be able to fight him, because despite the fact that he has walls, I don't think he'll immediately get the garrison and walls on the first turn. So if I start besieging him immediately, he's not going to be able to recover from that. I'll have him trapped inside the city, and then I can kind of roll him over. And like I said before, Resetra does not have a good garrison. It wasn't a very well built up place to begin with. So I don't really care about the losses, whatever. Just like I don't care if I lose Granite Massif to the Skaven again, or to Rebellion, which is going to happen in 2 turns. And as you can see, he didn't actually get his fortifications. We'll be able to besiege him. I don't know what the battlefield would look like. If it would look like a normal walled settlement. It appears to be a normal walled settlement. But I suppose the walls are completely messed up. Number of breaches, 5. So the walls are completely shot. I'm not entirely sure why I have siege attack. Do I have siege attacker on Queen Khalida? I'm not entirely sure why it says I can attack there, because I don't see any units here that would have siege attacker. I don't quite have access to sepulchral stalkers just yet. Trying to get those leveled up here. I was trying to get them unlocked here. There you can see we're definitely looking. King Alcazar. But with this chariot heavy... Sorry about that, guys. There's a little something stuck in my throat. But with this chariot heavy army, we're definitely not in the best position. And as you can see, it's definitely not giving us the best of odds here. We have a lot of archery, which could potentially bring a lot of these units down. But at the same time, Krokgar, I'm not entirely sure if Krokgar's mounted yet. He doesn't seem to be mounted. He does have the glittering scales, which is a pretty crazy debuff, actually, especially when you're dealing with Tomb Kings who have terrible stats to begin with. And I don't have the best of troops to really bust through this. He's got a lot of spears in there. My army is really kind of meant for an open field battle. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to besiege him in here and build up that third army. And that army is going to be filled with infantry, and it's going to have another unit, hopefully, of troops. Because right now, even with AI's incompetence in fighting sieges, this is a really rough stack for me to beat. So we're just going to keep sieging. We're just going to starve him out, sort of. As silly as that sounds, and as disappointing as that might be to you guys who are really hoping to see a crazy battle, I really actually don't feel comfortable with the army I've got trying to fight lizard men inside a city. Over here, we'll start working on some skeleton spears. We could repair the Doomglade, actually. I'm somewhat tempted to. If Krokgar comes out to fight us, I'm going to be completely down with that. That would be amazing, because we can easily trash Krokgar in a field battle. The biggest problem is just fighting Krokgar out in the... Because with 2 stacks, both of them at full move speed, we could easily take on Krokgar. The biggest problem is trying to take on Krokgar in the siege situation. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to do it. It's going to be a tough nut to crack. I should probably start building this army up in Doomglade, because now Doomglade's about to have a revolt. Not the end of the world once again if I lose it, and I can always get it back. But the rebellions the Tomb Kings tend to have are absolutely monstrous. They are very much out of control. You'll have high veterancy Tomb Guard and Scorpions and sorts of units like that. It's pretty crazy. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have a revolt here in the Doomglade, and there's nothing we can do to stop that, unfortunately. We're just going to lose our skeleton archers recruiting. But for a turn, we'll just have to suffer through it for a few turns and deal. There's not much I can do about it, even if I want to. We could get a capacity for carrying, but carrying is just so bad, honestly. The Granite Mass is about to revolt. There's not the best of garrisons here. It's skeleton spears and skeleton archers. I should have most likely deployed this lord here, or there, but I did not. So now Granite Mass is probably going to be lost as well. Though that said, if it's a Skaven rebellion, it might be doable. We'll see. Over here we do have Krokgar, and we're simply going to have to keep sieging. King Alcazar. We're just going to starve him out. We could build siege equipment, but simply put, there's no real reason to. Of course, we're about to have a whole bunch of revolts. There's no reason to build siege equipment, really. We could, I suppose, because we are sieging. Just might as well, but... there's really no point. We're simply trying, at this point, we're simply trying to starve him out. So it looks like he might try to assault me there. I'm not. Look, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. We do have this rebellion here from this Skaven, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. I should be able to, even if the Skaven do take that city over, I'll build up a new army. It's gonna have some good units in there. And for 8 turns, we're just gonna be sieging or etc. down like this until he starts starving. Once Krokgar starts starving, then we'll really be able to kind of collapse him. If we can bait him out to sally out, that would be ideal. The Tomb Kings, I think, are one of the worst, and I haven't really given this much thought previously, but in retrospect, I think the Tomb Kings are one of, if not the worst. And you can see here, well, this is almost winnable. It's tempting to fight this one, simply because we might be able to fight this one. We have the garrison here is weak. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna get stomped by the dinos on the back of that anyway.
And Granite Massive. Oh, I thought maybe we have a full garrison here, but we just don't. So that's just going to be a crushing blow. I don't know if they actually occupy it. I'm not entirely sure what Skaven. I don't think I've ever actually had a settlement taken by a Skaven rebellion, which says something about how weak those are. We'll keep working on our Nehekharn warriors. Well, actually, I think we'll upgrade our Nehekharn. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep working on. We'll go with that. We'll get everything out done eventually. We can now get Nehekharn horsemen. Though unfortunately we're actually locked out of Sepulchral Stalkers because Queen Khalida starts with a unit, and I didn't realize that would count against me, but apparently it does, which kind of sucks. So regardless, we'll keep recruiting troops here. We'll keep buying archers, be buying those units, and keep working our way up. We can get some brass works if we really wanted to, but I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to save up, get some of these areas leveled. It really sucks that we're not able to get. I was hoping for an extra unit of Sepulchral Stalkers, and apparently that's just not going to be the case. Maybe a Crypt Barracks just to get access to more Nehekharn warriors. We could boost our growth. Right, tombs. I think we're simply going to try to stay up for more Nehekharn warriors. Definitely, Tomb Kings are one of the worst siege factions I've ever played, and that's saying something. We'll start building up there. And we keep building up here, and we could, of course, get the Flock of Joff. We don't have access to the items we need. We don't have access to gold, so we can't get access to a lot of these units. Actually, any of these units, which sucks. It's okay, though. Fortunately, the Doomglade here has been retaken by the Vampire Counts. That said, maybe these guys will, maybe the Dinos will actually go crush them for me. That would make life significantly easier. Marok will continue being besieged, and we're just going to end turn. I do apologize for how long that took. And what does Krokar want? He probably wants peace, but we're not going to give him peace because he is messed up. We're going to keep besieging him. If he decides to bring that army over and sally out against us, that's fine. But we're going to whittle him down. We're going to melt Resetra down and take it. Well, so Carrick Zorn's at war with everybody right now. So things are definitely looking good. And yeah, all in all, we're definitely doing okay. The Silver Host has been recovered, has come back from the dead, but they won't be able to field more than one stack based on the Doomglade here. And if they try to sally out towards Liberus, I can always shift my army from over there. So yeah, all in all, should be pretty decent. So either way, sieging's going on. I'll just finish this hopefully soon. And I guess what we can try to do is, now we do have access to those Nehekharn horsemen, and I'm not entirely sure if anybody's going to go for Liberus. I'm hoping not, but we will shift over and perhaps get ourselves some Nehekharn horsemen, flesh it out with some skeleton spears, and just keep moving. And really, there's not much else we can do here. It does look like the AI is trying to reinforce Krokar, so it's going to be a bit of a race against time. But if AI tries to fight me here, I actually feel pretty comfortable taking on him. This is not the problem with Krokar's stack. Isn't that it's in and of itself that powerful. It's not a great stack, honestly. There's a lot of anti-large against an army like mine that does rely a lot on large units to do damage. But with Chariot's rear charging, there's not much Krokar can do to necessarily stop me. Now, wow, we can actually see the annoying lizardmen kind of marching up there, but there's not a lot AI can do to shut me down necessarily. But the big problem, and what do these guys want? We can give them an aggression back. We're not likely to fight these guys anytime soon, but one of the things Krokar, of course, he can't really. The Star Wars do have good mass, but they won't be able to just plow through. So this definitely should be okay. Well, I'm not too concerned of the fact that we got Vampire Counts here instead of actual Tomb Kings is huge. That's very, very useful. The Tomb Kings rebellions are ridiculously powerful. We will get our final bit of Canopic Jar Hoarder there. Get that Canopic Jar region going extra fast. March this army up to Liberus. Now this is a pretty terrible stack, but it will mean that I can charge up Ushabti pretty quick, get them for free. Nehekharn horsemen are not actually bad there. Actually, one of those. I don't know if I'd go as far as calling them hidden gems, because they're not that great. But they're definitely pretty solid. They're definitely a much better unit than one would expect from when compared to the rest of the Tomb King skeleton troops, which are by and large pretty trashy. Unfortunately, of course, we are not going to be able to get sepulchral stalkers because I do believe. So yeah, so that sucks that we don't get an extra charge of sepulchral stalkers. Now, we do definitely want to try to get that Tomb Guard going in Liberus. If we can get Tomb Guard, the catapults I'm actually not that hyped for. It won't give us any extra chariots, which sucks. And Screaming Skull Catapult was definitely great to have one catapult. It is still only one catapult. Not the most amazing thing ever. Tomb Guard, once again, a little unfortunate. That it will boost my capacity for Skeleton Archers, but you only get 2 Tomb Guard. It doesn't boost your Necron Warrior capacity. 1 Tomb Guard with Halberds. Definitely, it's a big weakness for the Vampire, or not for the Vampire, for the Tomb Kings. I'm hoping those Lizard Men will get gutsy enough to kind of fight me here. If they do the 2-on-2 army fight with this weakened army, then I should be very easily capable of taking on them. They're just not that strong. And we will keep starving Krokgar out, and he's getting a little... We might actually have a chance of forcing a battle here that is very favorable to us. Or we can just keep besieging him until he starves. I'll see how many turns I've got left. It's probably like 3 or 4 turns left on the counter. We will scout out Doomglade, see if there's any troops there. It doesn't look like the Silver Host is really building up, but at the same time, we ourselves are building up, so it's kind of a race, an arms race. And of course, they don't have good recruiting buildings here. So at most, I'd assume, assuming they even have recruiting buildings, they might have access to, say, some trashy infantry. We failed an infantry quest. Too bad. There's really not much we can have done about that. We can push out to here and simply try to see what we can get. Once again, we're very limited in our options. We can get some Skeleton Warriors. Over here on this flank, we will check out how far along we are in our siege. King Alcazar is not who I'm trying to check out. And as you can see, interestingly enough, it's actually, we do have 3 more turns of sieging. It's actually giving you better odds right now than were I to... And this is weird. I don't know why it's giving me better odds now. I suppose it's because of the siege equipment. We can just keep building siege equipment until it gets good. But siege equipment would not change the fact that this battle is horribly skewed against us. I don't think. It's such a terrible battle, and I really would not like to go into that. We're gonna try to keep We're gonna try to keep saving up. If we can get the money to get Tomb Guard, that would be great. I'm not too, like I said before, I'm not too excited for the artillery piece. I do want to get. The thing is, once again, if we get Necro Serpent Nest, the only thing we get out of this is an extra unit of Sepulchral Stalkers and Necron Horsemen. We won't actually get Necropolis Knights because we've already hit we already have max capacity. So we're really kind of limited. One of the problems here is that just the very high-end stuff is you don't get too much improvement there. This guy doesn't actually improve any capacity for anything. We could try to unlock, say, Priest of Tra, get a Lich Priest, or we could get Tomb Prince, which would definitely be useful. I think what we might actually do, we could also get one of these Heralds. Some of these Heralds are actually some pretty cool improvements. Deathblow is actually probably pretty decent on undead units, because it's like the Slayer effect. I think what we'll do is we'll take the Patronage of Alcazar. This will cost us quite a few jars, but it's okay. We're gonna keep starving good old Krokgar out over there. Even if they do start reinforcing, if that additional army over there starts reinforcing itself, we should be okay. I'm kind of wondering if we'll get the guts together to. But if that army decides to deploy and start recruiting over long distance, within 3 turns they'll get 3 troops. But Krokgar's army is just going to start tanking in HP, and they're not going to be able to contest me anymore. I definitely think the AI has been nerfed a lot. Personally, I would have liked to see it, instead of nerfing AI's capacity, is that they buff back the player's ability to recruit. Because that was one of those big hits that happened very hard in Legendary. It's a 15% upkeep increase. Obviously, this doesn't affect Tomb Kings, but it does affect factions like Tomb Kings quite a bit. And so it's one of those things I would have liked to see. What we can do, however, and I actually didn't think about this, and I probably should have thought about this, is we can actually go, I do believe, fight this guy. And it will actually force him to retreat. I think we could easily, we could just that we could easily crush him. Yeah, look at that, easy wipe on that army. Then we could replenish, but we're not gonna get that much replenishing. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna do Endless March. We'll get money out of it because we are trying to save up for that. And then
We'll run back up to be within range of Queen Khalida. And we actually got Canopic Jars, Battle Masters, so definitely very solid improvement. And King Alcazar got a shield. So now Krokar's in an even worse position. He doesn't have that reinforcing army. I forgot about that. That's a pretty cool effect. AI tends to abuse that actually a whole bunch. Where you besiege an army, and because of that, you're not able to sally out. And that's really rather powerful. So we'll get this extra replenishment because we are going to deploy to replenish here fairly shortly. Over here, we will recruit a Tomb Prince, and that's one of the cool things. You don't have to buy buildings for Tomb Princes. Now, you could get bonus versus infantry. We could, however, this actually seems really, really strong. Except, it's melee. It's all on foot. I'd have to keep it on foot. I don't think I will be keeping it on foot. So, what I think we'll do instead is take a Wrathful, because I think 5% melee is not going to be that useful. We'll do some scouting here. As you can see, Doomglade is now fortified and entrenched, I guess. I definitely have a better stack here, though, because this is all chaff, crappy, undead chaff troops. My troops are, of course, chaff as well, but they're better chaff than his, and I have cavalry. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull back. We're going to get our Tomb Prince. These guys won't be able to recruit a bigger stack anyway, so that doesn't really matter. We're about to get... Oh, we got to finish the Ossuary Dirge, and go from there. Marak's still waiting to level up. Next turn we'll have tier 3, and we're just saving money right now, so definitely all's going well. So all in all, I think we should be okay. Well, we'll see. And as long as Krokar's too cowardly to sally out, we'll be able to starve him out. And I understand you guys are probably hoping for a big battle, but it's one of those things. I have confidence in Quick Match. I have pretty good confidence in most of my field battles. And despite the fact that sieges tend to be very skewed towards the human player, in this situation where I just have a bunch of large, and that's really my only option, he's got a horde of anti-large. And I know my troops are just terrible quality. I really don't have much confidence in winning that sort of battle, and so it's just gonna have to be a starvation campaign. And I generally try to avoid those, but we're gonna have to do it. We'll put our prince here and the Tomb King's army. We do have our Ossuary Dirge completed. We'll start working on the First Dynasty plans. Get that leveling done. Necron warriors, of course, are, and hey, we can go fight these guys. We can go fight these. These guys can't take us at all. They're a tiny stack. Over here we're gonna put Alcazar into the replenishing stance, which is gonna go at an okay rate. You can see over here Queen Khalida still besieging. Within a turn he should start starving, and once that happens, he's just gonna fall apart and we'll be able to auto resolve in a few turns. And once Krokar loses that army, I think we'll be really set. Now in Liberus, you can see things are definitely looking pretty good. I don't think we'll need to fortify Liberus really. So what we can do is that we can definitely invest in economy. But I do want to first. I think we could get the catapults, but I think we'll save up for Tomb Guard with halberds and Tomb Guard, because I want a handful of them would just make all the difference in the world. I think right now they're one of those units that I'm not limited on, because it's not like I've had them unlocked before, so it's gonna be a pretty strong upgrade for me. We could invest though in. I'm tempted to do economy. I think we'll build one economy building. We don't really need the Tomb Guard right now, so. And if those vampire guys, those guys get gutsy, if they decide to push out, we'll be able to fight them. Over here you can see things are definitely going rough up north. You can see Carcass Wolf falling apart. Death Corps is being taken by Greenskins. Last Defender's just trying to bypass me. I'm not entirely sure what they're trying to do, if they're trying to pull a fast one there. But we'll be able to kill these guys, run past, and go straight back to Resetra. And all in all, things are definitely going pretty good. Yeah, Blue Vipers, Broken Nose, blah blah blah, Shadow Gores, Silver Host. Silver Host is obviously not going to sally out there. And keep in mind, you always want to keep in mind that you have that free unit of Shopti. It's one of the things, before I considered the garrisons for the Tomb Kings to be really bad, but in retrospect, you can get up to 3 units of Shopti on them over the course of battle, and you can put those Shopti wherever the heck you please. So it's honestly stronger than one would anticipate. I lose some skeletons. I honestly can't be bothered to care. We're gonna harvest organs there. It's whatever. And then we will simply run back. We're gonna escape. We're gonna go back. We'll get Root Marcher. and we'll replenish. We'll get our we'll buy new troops and be set. Over here we are still starving, and Krokar is going to start collapsing after this turn, so that's going to be good. And yeah, so we're saving up. We could get those catapults. I actually have not tried the catapults yet. We could also get an extra unit of more Nehakarans, but I really want that Tomb Guard. And until I'm able to afford tier... Well, I could try to go for tier 4, I suppose, as well. And that would, I do believe, give me access to Tomb Scorpions. One of the cool things about... And I do know, I'm kind of talking and ranting and raving, but I think one of the cool things actually about the Tomb Kings is that there is incentive to try out different unit types. With a lot of other factions, because you're limited by your upkeep, there's definitely a much more... Though obviously you can, for fun, do whatever you want, but if you're trying to be competitive, if you're trying to be efficient in your campaign, there are definitely min-max sort of optimal builds. It's funny that these guys are actually willing to pay me gold, and I'm actually going to take... This is crazy. I'm actually going to take that, because 2,100 gold is really hard for Tomb Kings to come by. That is 3 turns of recruiting worth, and I can then immediately war these guys. I don't care about my current reliability. I'm not trading with anybody. I'm not going to be trading with anybody, so it really doesn't matter. And so I can war them immediately after, and that is a crazy amount of gold that is going to give me a huge boost. And we're going to be able to get these Tomb Guard right away. That's going to be really solid. Now Lamia is still not quite leveled to the point of being able to get tier 4, so we're going to have to keep saving for that. We can also we'll keep saving for better stuff. Over here that siege is finally going our way, and you can see he's falling apart, and so we're just going to auto resolve this and be done with it. So definitely tough luck for poor little Krokar as we occupy Resetra and wipe him out off the map. We'll level up to Mastaba immediately. That was very drawn out and unfortunately a very long process, but it is what it is. We could do... Tenmi doesn't actually seem bad. That seems pretty solid. Sandsweeper, we won't really be raiding. We're not really suffering too much in public order. The Tomb Kings actually have a really solid public order commandment, so I don't think that's too much of a problem for them. Over here we will simply recruit a whole bunch of new troops to replace the ones we lost. And yeah, keep going. We're just keep trucking along. And I think things are definitely starting to look up with Krokar's army wiped out there in that battle. Yeah, he's got some nuisance troops here. He's got the Golden Tower. Teotika all the way down there, which is, I do believe is tier 3 based on how many troops are there. But we'll be able to squeeze south as long as Puig doesn't backdoor us again. But at this point, we're looking at 3 armies. That's one of the cool things about Tomb Kings. As long as you're able to last long enough, you hang on long enough, you can definitely start fielding a lot of armies. It's not definitely one of those things that aren't a problem, because Krokar is completely crippled. He doesn't have any armies right now. I'm not going to give him a free piece at all. Definitely not worth it. He's failed to hinder replenishment. And we're just going to start marching south. We're going to take stack. Probably take Doomblade with a single stack. Maybe we'll bring a second one, just in case. There's a whole bunch of wars going on right now. I definitely need to be a little cautious. Greenskins can, of course, be pretty brutal sometimes. But, yeah, we're going to push south. We're going to take Doomblade. And I think we'll kind of take a break there. That is where we'll take pause. And before the next episode, we'll try to cut it off at Doomblade. And, yeah, so all in all, things definitely going really well. We can shift Alcazar over to here. High Queen Khalida can force march down south. We would definitely want to exploit the situation, the fact that we've kind of gotten a huge benefit here. Now, I don't know how long Tomb Guard takes to recruit, which is a little annoying. We could get even more chariots. But I think what we'll try to save up for is either catapults or teching up to tier 4. Because you do have okay growth. Maybe get Marak up to tier 3. Definitely the growth would be useful. I'm sorry, guys. Definitely, I think the growth would be useful. And we'll go. Yeah, we'll take Doomblade next turn. Probably. I'm not gonna bother kind of dancing around it. There's no reason to. You almost got current chariots and current warriors. The extra armor is not bad. These guys aren't very well armored to begin with, but all in all, these are definitely decent improvements. I actually still haven't invested in army upgrades, and I'm not entirely sure what I'll do for Queen Khalida further on. We could do Lightning Strike. Reduce attrition is something I don't care for usually, as long as you can enter any camp stand or the barrow beneath the stands. So what we might do Alma's Mine, followed by Renowned and Fierce. So I think that's what we're going to do. Queen Khalida obviously does not have Queen Khalida obviously does not have access to magic, unlike a lot of the other Tomb King lords, which is one of those things with like Arkan or Cetra. It's a very debatable. You don't know what exactly you want to go into, especially with Cetra. I think because Cetra's lore isn't the best, but at the same time, magic can be very useful. It can definitely be game changing. So it's definitely kind of an iffy situation where you're not sure what you want to invest in. You don't know what exactly you want, where you want to put your points. But with Queen Khalida, she's a good combatant. You're probably going to invest in some kind of combat stats, campaign line, maybe something for army. But it's much easier to fit all three of those within 40 points than it is if you need to put magic in there. Usually, yeah. That's, for example, why when I play as Durthu, I generally never invest in his magic. I build him up to be a melee lord with army buffs and campaign buffs. I generally never bother with his, despite the fact that he does have lore beast, which is a decent lore. So, all the things you gotta figure out what you want to do exactly. So we're gonna take Doomglade from beneath the poor, poor guys who just paid us 2,000 for peace. I'll reduce miscast chance because I don't want to lose Canopic Charge right now. I don't know if I can quite reach the Doomglade. It looks like we're just barely able to, so we'll declare war. It's a scumbag move. It's going to lower our reliability ratings, diplomacy-wise. We're actually able to just auto-resolve our way through this, I don't know, with just one army. I'm too lazy to bring the other one over just now. And we will... We're actually going to... I think we'll sack it, because next turn we can take it easily. And not worry about that too much. We'll sack, and then get more there. We'll get Canopic Jar Hoarder. I think the Canopic Jar Hoarder is very, very useful. This army will shortly get Tomb Guard, because that's actually kind of what we're going to... Well, I don't know if we should wait. We can move to Libris to replenish, get this Tomb Prince who's leveling up. And yeah, we're definitely sitting in a pretty comfy spot right now. We can get... him working on Canopic Jar Hoarder as well. Again, he has many. Right now we're sitting at +6, which isn't amazing, but as it keeps stacking, it will eventually get to a really strong position. We could actually get a Necrotect, which is very tempting. But I'm not entirely sure if that's what I want to do. I could get a Catapult. I think there's a lot of choices. We'll go with a Skull Repository. We'll try the Catapults out. I haven't really given a full shot. We'll get Exorcisms so that we can get Evasion going for our caster. High Queen Khalida is, of course, sitting in a pretty strong spot right now. So what we're going to do, we'll just push through to here. We'll take the Golden Tower. Oh, actually, we'll go besiege Teotihuacan, where there's this guy trying to build up a stack, and hopefully shut his hopes and dreams down. Over here, this army will take Doomglade next turn, and it will definitely be set. Now we got more tech to research. A lot of these are fairly useless upgrades, so the huge boosts here to Ushabti with Cloth and the Divine. The rest of these are kind of lackluster because a lot of these are things you don't really make too much use of, I don't think. But regardless, definitely pretty solid, and we could do economy. We should definitely invest a little bit at least in economy. Next turn we'll have the Silver Legion gone, and we did lose our trading unit with Karakazul, which sucks. I do believe that's probably due to Karakazul getting monkey stomped by the Greenskins. Once again, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to besiege those or storm those guys with Queen Khalida, because quite frankly, I don't have the resources to storm them. I've got a pretty weak... Queen Khalida's army is not that great for sieging. Kind of weak. Now they do immediately get a whole bunch of troops because of course they're vampire. Well, not a whole bunch, but they immediately get to summon dead. But that's okay. We're simply going to storm them, occupy them, and be done with it. So we'll hit these guys. It's an easy auto resolve. We'll get some cheap leveling and we'll just occupy. Perfect. And we got the province secured now, so we can now invest in some public order, I think, which will be the best investment in the short term. Resetra doing okay. We'll get a mortuary house, and this actually should, I do believe, stabilize our archer recruitment. We can actually get new archers, which is kind of tempting for one of these armies. I might do that in this one because this army is just so weak. We'll drop some of the skeleton warriors because they're really bad. It might be the skeleton warriors are worse than, are definitely not as good of a choice as skeleton spears.
So we'll get those. Over here, Queen Khalida still marching around, and we'll make a move onto Teotihuacan and try to besiege them. And as you can see, they're very well fortified. But once again, I think this should be okay. We have a lot of shooting, so we can bring down their archers. They've got a lot of skinks in here who aren't very dangerous. Now the Stegodon's nasty. The 2 Crocscores are nasty. But against that, we've got our archers. We do have our very high veterancy Necropolis Knights. We do have Queen Khalida herself. Of course, we have Sepulchral Stalkers. Once again, our okay veterancy. Ushapti, who, well, obviously they're not meant against large. Neither are the Crocscores. The 2 should be trading pretty effectively, or pretty cost efficiently. Then with the archery support thrown in, with the support of the casters and all that sort of stuff, it should definitely be a decent spot. So we're going to start sieging, and hopefully bring those guys down to size. So yeah. So let's see. Over here, still waiting. We do want to veteran up this Lord. Keep working on good old canopic jars. Every bit of canopic jars we can get is going to be huge for us. And with that, I do believe we are simply going to end here. We're going to take a pause, and we'll pick back up. Actually, one more thing we could definitely do is we could definitely get another better Lord. Wachtov here with extra range, not bad. Extra charge bonus, definitely pretty solid Lord there. So we'll take him, I think, and well, maybe we'll hold off. Maybe we'll keep researching on our Ushapti, and we'll come back to him at a later point. Maybe get one of these heralds. So we'll take a pause there, and I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. If you have any comments, criticism, any questions, or anything like that, be sure to post them down, and I'll respond as soon as I can. As usual, guys, I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.